All right, here we go. Dave Simpson here, along with Jana Kaufman, and we're going to go ahead and start the action with Jana. Jump in there.
We've got Liv Wimpenny here for England taking the draw, and as soon as the referee gets out of the way, we can see who's taking the draw for Scotland. But this is, this is going to be big here for England to come out and to get a number of goals and get up quick if they want the same outcome as they did earlier. It's going to be a turnover for Scotland here.
That was Hannah Grant on the draw for Scotland.
Thank you.
So here we go. England being pacey and pushing it up.
Emma Oakley to Alex Drew, all the way down to Tors Anderson, number 1 down there. And what you're going to see from Tors is probably a couple of quick shots, a couple of fast-moving passes. And what she's going to want to do is she's going to want to get quick and control. And it looks like, here we go, Liv Wimpenny again coming out and taking control of the attack and really being a leader here. Emma Oakley, great, solid defender, phenomenal at any position that she's really playing, but Emma Oakley just put that in the back of the net up against Scotland here, so it's 1-0, 1-all England. One
of the changes in the Scotland lineup here is Alex Seidel at goalie, and so there she's just made the clear. I think that's Coach Ilse Stott from Scotland. I think that's her strategy, is to rotate the goalies, give them all reps.
Oh, number 7 right there for Scotland with a
Hannah Grant.
Kind of a spin move, puts it in the back of the net there. Number 14 right there. Let's talk about Iona Westwood real quick and what she did against England in the first game. But that was a shot by Alex Drew and a save by the goalie here. But she cherry-picked, and I don't know that we're seeing that in this moment from Scotland. I wonder if they're going to come back out with it, but that's also going to be still maintained. It's Scotland's ball.
I think for Scotland it may be a personnel thing. So it was Jenny Ayton who was doing the cherry picking, and she's not on the pitch at the moment. So this may be just their look that is a more traditional look.
We've got a turnover here. Let's see how England does. Give them a couple of seconds to really kind of get their legs underneath them and get ready to go. Good ball movement by England up top.
Yeah, it's 1-1. Both teams settling in a little bit here, it seems.
Liv Wimpenny, number 25, with a great dodge, getting underneath and just putting it back on the net. Getting right on top of the goalie, too. Which is something that's going to be different in sixes, right? There's not going to be as many opportunities to be right on top of the goalie. Great save right there by Katie Greenwood. Shot taken by Scotland, number...
That's Hannah Grant again.
Hannah Grant.
She's getting name-checked a lot here in the first quarter. She's a terrific player, experienced, been to several World Cups. And what I liked about that drive of hers is that she accepted the contact. She was being driven away from the goal, but she didn't allow herself to be driven away from the goal, so to speak. Kept her shooting hands free and was able to get a look.
We've got a turnover by England. Scotland has the ball here, and we'll see England once again dropping back into that ride, that full field transitional ride. And an interception by Liv Wimpenny, number 25. Let's see if she can push and kind of get numbers here. She's really going to try and get ahead.
Yeah, Chloe Carruthers was able to cut her off there.
Goal England with an assist from Liv Wimpenny, number 13 for England. It's going to be England's ball here with the turnover.
Okay, some sort of stoppage from the officials now. There was a problem earlier with the 30-second clock, but I see the 30-second clock. It seems to be running, so don't think that's the reason for it.
Trying to figure out what that call is.
We've mentioned before, Jana, that this is an event for players to get more experience with sixes, for coaches, and for umpires. So some of these umpires won't have coached this format before. They know the rules, but their muscle memory is perhaps to call it differently. So we're all learning together, so to speak.
Exactly.
So here's Jenny Ayton on the pitch, by the way, with the ball.
That was a shot by number 2, Emma Brown. Great save by the Scotland goalkeeper. Great save right here by Katie Greenwood.
A nice tic-tac-toe from Chesgreta Suze Oliphant.
What you're seeing is these goalies are making saves from across the body. Those are tough saves, especially with how close some of the shots are coming in. So they're really stepping up, being in good position. Tors Anderson took that shot, ended up outside of the goal here. Scotland's ball. Katie Greenwood's going to have an easy pickup here. Got Emma Brown moving it up the pitch. Let's give England a second, see how what kind of shape that they form here, and see how they move the ball around and how they're gonna attack. Scotland really in the first game.
So Jana, we have Lottie Robertson now cherry picking for Scotland. So they're electing to put someone forward. Katie Greenwood, not feeling the threat, didn't step up on her.
Yep, and there's Emma Brown stepping up to take that. Liv Wimpenny just ripping that out of the air. Great interception. I think that's something that England's going to have to discuss is does the goalie come up that far? How do you stop that from happening? I'm not sure that that's a tactic that will end up paying off a lot in the long run. Leaving that open goal is pretty dangerous.
Lottie Robertson bringing it up. She had, I believe that was Caroline Getley on the trail cut. Didn't quite connect with her. But good to not force it if it's not there.
That was a great check right there. Scotland had the turnover. England's got numbers here for just a quick second. Let's see how they take this. Oh.
Nice play by Heather McRae there. She had a 2v1 that she had to deal with as a defender, and she just kind of
kept her stick up in the lane.
Yep, and just kind of did a surprise jump. I don't know if she made contact with it, but it was enough to disrupt the play.
I don't know that she did make contact with it. I think that was a tough pass. Here we go, Scotland ball. Scotland's going to try to get this in on a nice up, and it is a goal. That is number 5, Charlie Bergwist. It was a great feed from Scotland right there. Number 7 here for England, Weber. And Alex Drew coming in on a sub. So we're probably going to see some passes here, and I think... Oh.
Scotland being a little more assertive on defense than we saw them in the match earlier today, and it's paying dividends.
Definitely the on body here. Oh, great check. Great trail check right there. It's something you're going to have to really be careful of is that trail check. Get the stick in, keep it tight, especially in the sixes format.
Yeah, with the field more compressed, you've really got to, it was always important to protect the ball, but even more so in tight space.
We've got a timeout here from England with a minute 21 left in the first.
England leading 3-2, so we've got another close one just like this morning.
I think when you can kind of see the differences here. If I were England, I'd have a quick conversation about the attack and how can we focus on cleaning it up and having some of these passes be quicker leading passes. I think that's one of the things that is probably hurting some of the passes is they're behind the player. So it seems like the players are taking a second too long to get the ball out of their stick, and they're jamming the pass.
I think by the time we get to World Games, I think all the top teams are going to be much better at this, connecting long and short passes in congestion, anticipating each other, and right now, for all the teams, so not picking on any of them in particular, it's just a little sloppy.
Yeah, and it's by the way, there's about 19 seconds. That's going to be a turnover on England, Scotland ball. But one of the pieces is that the difference between 10s and 6s for the passes is you don't have as much time. Oh, almost got that. Emma Oakley almost got that out with the back check. Scotland ball here.
Charlie Bergquist.
Good defense, kind of trying to force that off angle that we've talked about. And what you saw right there, you see England isn't drawing all the way out, so they're...
All right, contact to the head.
Okay. He's going to call that with a card.
Yeah. Charlie Bergquist maintains possession. B. Weber to the sin bin. Scotland with a man-up opportunity here.
See how what they do to really take advantage of this. And what you saw right away, England dropped into a zone.
Yeah.
Good defense. Ball down. All right, Alex. Let's see if Alex Drew can just really push this pace. Oh, And it's Scotland. Scotland got the ball back. Here we go, and it is the end of the first quarter.
3-2. Wow. So, despite some changes in personnel from the first game this morning, it's kind of playing out the same slightly. It's not the finest brand of lacrosse we've ever seen. It's got some rough edges. However, it's hard fought. These are teams that play gritty matches against each other, and this is proving to be one of those. So, it's good stuff.
It's a different game, right, than England just having played Wales. It's a different game that they're showing right now, and I think that Scotland's probably taking a couple of seconds here to say, hey, there's a lot of the ball's on the ground a lot. They're doing a really good job of taking that time to clean that up, and they're turning that ball on the ground into their favor. So what would you be saying if you're sitting on the England side and how you're going to address that?
Well, I think England needs to get back to their business-like self. Where they stand tall and connect the passes solidly, without any flash, without any, just
good,
execute,
clean,
clean, just execute that. And on the Scotland side, they're being fairly effective at disrupting England and taking them out of their game, but then not quite forming a game of their own. So that's what I would say. Hey, it's a new quarter. Let's go and clean up the error rate.
Mm-hmm.
The error rate can come out of fatigue. It can come out of rushing. It could come out of pressurizing yourself because you're feeling like you need to do something positive. Relax and then enjoy the game, move the ball, make solid, aggressive, positive moves, and get something out of every possession.
And I think that one of the pieces that we should talk about as well, real quick here, is that England has changed how they're playing defense. You can tell that they're not going out as far and as high, and they're sitting back, which is what Scotland's tactic was in the first game, was to draw England to them as opposed to get dragged out and get out of position. So I think we're going to see some more of that. And England, if they're using that to their advantage, they'll really be able to make some moves here and open some of these gates to put the ball in the back of the net.
I think you're right. Okay, here we go. Scotland are still man up as we go into the second quarter. England 3, Scotland 2 in this Home Nation Sixes tournament.
So this is Tors Anderson here, number 1, with the ball for England. She's going to take it down behind.
Okay, there's been a stoppage again for a reason that doesn't have anything to do with what's happening on the pitch, I think.
I don't think so. I wonder if the shot clock here is off or maybe
well,
not.
No,
working.
I can see
Well, I think there's one right here.
Oh, okay. So this one might be. So there's been a bit of difficulty with shot clocks. They're radio operated, and it's exactly the kind of thing that goes wrong exactly when you don't want it to.
Right. If it can go wrong, it will.
Yeah. So it's technology slightly getting in the way.
So he's just going to do a restart. I think he's actually going to keep it on his watch, is what it looks like he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a 3-referee crew here today, and one of the things that the referees do as well is you typically always will have a trail referee. And if you're closely paying attention to how that trail referee is and what they're doing, they shift in this triangular shape, and are really the really high end, the really good referees do that triangular shape really, really well. And so if you have to sprint ahead, there's typically a referee at the top who can get ahead of that sprint. So it really helps the game.
Thank you for cueing me to be reminded to really thank and appreciate the umpires at this tournament. I happened to have dinner last night with 3 umpires, and they spent the whole night talking about subtleties of the rules and how to enforce it for fairness and flow of the game and all the things that we want to have. I know that we get competitive sometimes, and we can get down on a call or get down on a way maybe a game is slightly losing control, but they're here to learn as well. They're here to kind of enforce a game of sixes that has that dynamicism and that speed and that physicality that we all want, while at the same time not getting out of control. And
they're really giving advantage, right? They want to have this game played at a fast rate. So if you're sitting at home, if you're watching and you think something should have been a call, one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to try to give advantage.
So the irony being that we're talking about the speed of the game, and it's just been stopped for a couple of minutes over a technical thing. But as I say, I don't think it has anything to do with what's on the pitch. This doesn't appear to be a timeout. This appears to be the
shot clock.
Umpires allowing the teams to get together while they sort out what's going on. And sure enough, here's a runner heading towards the shot clock. I was saying to Dave Hallows earlier, who's my men's co-commentator, maybe you just have somebody with 30 cards with a name written on each, and they drop one every second.
I do not want to be be that person.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's the worst case of Love Actually ever.
There is a low-tech solution to this, but it's not pretty. In any case, this is the Home Nation Sixes tournament, something we've been looking forward to for a long time. It's brought to you by World Lacrosse as a demonstration, as a showcase of the Sixes format, and also to kind of discover, not just how the rules influence the game and how it affects players and umpires, but also spectators, but also just the way a tournament is run. These matches are over and done, and a new match starts within an hour. And that's a really impressive attempt. I know from a commentator point of view, because each game there's very little time between these games.
Yeah, and I think one of the nice things is at the same time, there are countries all over the world that are going to be starting this format and starting sixes and getting into it. So what's going to happen over the coming months is that, especially leading up to the World Games, which is 6 teams have been invited to participate in the World Games, but over the next coming months and over the next coming years, more and more the World Championships and the World Games, but more and more countries are going to start organizing their own sixes events. And so it's going to also explode the game. It's going to add a layer and a level to teams joining.
So, Janet, it looks like the umpires have called the 2 head coaches to the center of the pitch. There's no controversy going on here that I can detect. It's just something technical is happening that needs to get sorted out. To your point, Janet, so I sort of run development here in Scotland. So, the sixes format creates a really unique opportunity within the development context because, when you form a team, the nature of the format is your top players go out and they do four or so full field runs.
Yep.
And then they're gassed. They're dying to get off. And so you have to go through your whole bench throughout the game. And so everybody gets a lot of touches. Everybody gets a lot of reps. Whereas in the 10s format, if you had a bench of 8, you had a squad of 18, a deep bench, that 17th, 18th player may not make it on the pitch at all and doesn't get the reps to improve.
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How do you choose your team? How do you look and how do you identify what is going into team selection? Is it your goalie? Is it one goalie? Is it 2 goalies? Are you carrying 1 or 2 attackers and mainly middies? So you're really going to sit down and take a minute when you're picking your team, however you pick it, however you choose your team, to really see the fitness levels. And I think what's going to start to transition is the fitness levels are going to start to take shape in a different way. Your sprinters are going to have opportunities here that they may not have had so much in 10s.
Oh, I completely agree. I think, I sort of interviewed some of the coaches and players about the physical demands of sixes, and it is different. It's very high heart rates and then rest, and then very high rates and heart rates and rest. Anyway, we're back in action here with England with the ball. Sitting on a lead of 3-2.
We've got Liv Wimpenny, number 25 for England, sitting up top. Tors Anderson out on this. And there is England doing what they do best, which is creating space. Nice, great goal from Tors Anderson. She sees that opportunity and converts. But you saw right there, they drew everybody out. Scotland got out of holding their defensive position and really drew out. So you're seeing England defensively also doing a little bit of a seemingly high pressure. They're not really hanging in and holding. And then Scotland is really moving the ball here.
It's interesting to see some of the straight attackers and straight defenders. Terrific from Chloe Carruthers there. Seeing straight attackers and straight defenders out in this format and discovering what their skill set is. I'm seeing some pure attackers now playing defense.
Yeah, Tors Anderson just took a burner, a phenomenal shot right at the legs and put that one in the back of the net too. Number 1 for England. And it looks like there's a foul
foul
here.
on Tors. Anderson is heading to the sin bin.
What's also occurring, if you see some of the players stop, there's 2 fields here, and so sometimes they might be confusing.
Yeah, I heard a horn right when that
Yeah.
all happened. Yeah, I was confused myself.
The horn or the whistle is going off on the wrong, and Katie Greenwood on the wrong pitch. But Katie Greenwood, great interception right there. Again, England dropping directly back into a zone.
Yeah, I think for Ilse Stad, it's hey guys, that cross feed near the crease, don't do that.
Yeah.
She's had maybe 3 of those today.
You've got Alex Drew, by the way, if you were just watching. Alex Drew did a great spin move. He's coming around the crease right now, but great goal. But made a really good decision not to take the shot. And shot selection is also going to be increasingly important. Right there, Torres coming out of the gate from the sin bin, getting that interception. She's going to push this pace and try to put this in the back of the net too. But Scotland with a defensive stop
good
there.
recovery trail check there from Heather McRae. Hannah Grant with the outlet here.
Liv Wimpenny taking that right out of the air. Something with Liv Wimpenny, she just does, and it looks like it's just a beautiful move. She just sticks that stick right up in the air and just basically snatches the ball out of the air.
Yeah.
Scotland here, again, is having a cherry pick situation. So let's see how England
this
adjusts
is
to this.
Lottie Robertson again. Katie Greenwood is pointing out that she's there. Perhaps asking a field player to come back. Yeah, she is. Phil Collier, head coach of England, meanwhile, was asking his team to calm down a little bit. Just getting a little frantic, and I think Ilse Stott would probably say the same to hers. They've had 3 transition turnovers in a row now.
And there's Liv Wimpenny to number 14, Ella Cohen, putting it in the back of the net with a great assist. Beautiful goal. Scotland's taking this drive here, and they're going to maintain possession. I've seen the ball on the ground a lot today.
Yes.
I think that's something that I think both coaches would probably be more than willing to admit that that's going to have to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
And Liv Wimpenny to the sin bin. She's not happy about that call.
She is not. I think you and I would agree that the conversion rate of possessions, because with only a draw at the half and the quarters and the opening of the game, you get roughly 50% of the possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And so your possessions really need to count. The conversion rate is kind of what decides the game. Oh, an attempt at a back post speed there.
Yep. And Scotland here. Scotland is player up. There's the conversion.
Charlie Bergquist with the finish eye to eye.
Again, the score is 6-3 England with 4:20 left in the second here.
6-4. Yeah, it's gone to
6-4 up, and that goes in towards Anderson. That was a save, and it just happened to roll in.
So that's in the last 4 possessions, 3 were turnover for Scotland.
Yeah.
3 were turnovers on the long clear. So I think they've got to be willing to connect passes in transition rather than go for the big pass.
That was a beautiful goal. That was towards Anderson to Emma Brown, and Emma Brown just ripped that shot from about 7 or 8 meters out.
Lottie Robertson very active in this quarter. She's been on the ball quite a bit.
And you could start to see, you're starting to see some of the players, you can tell that their legs are getting a little bit heavy here in the second. So I wonder how that's going to be addressed. The checks are getting sloppy, the passes are a little sloppy. And it's the toll of the day. Katie Greenwood just taking that right out of the air for England here. She's going to get that pass off, a little shovel pass. I wouldn't call that a tactical move, but I'd give her credit for it. And a goal right there. Great goal by B. Weber.
I think Heather McRae may have taken a shot to the knuckles or something there. She's just heading off.
Oh, Katie Greenwood got it. I want to give her a lot of credit, but that was a beautiful, beautiful save as she's running across.
It appeared to be an open goal, and then suddenly it wasn't open.
Nothing short of diving. So that's going to be, it went out on England.
Yeah, so 2 minutes left here in the first half. It's England 9, Scotland 4.
And how quick did that score change?
Yeah, it did. In fact, it's a momentum timeout. I was about to say the same.
There it is.
I was about to say if I'm Ilsestad, I call a timeout, and Ilsestad called a timeout. We worked together for 6 years, so
you've met?
Tend to think alike. Yeah. So I think that was well timed. Try to get a momentum shift. In their first match together, the timeouts did produce momentum for Scotland. So,
and that's right. You could see Phil Collier with England. He's definitely having a conversation, and I would be willing to bet that he is saying, "Let's clean this up." That the ball is on the ground too much. Let's clean this up. Watch those passes, and because you're allowing Scotland to participate in a game where they're getting the ball not because they're winning the ball in the air. They're getting the ball off the ground.
It's fun as a coach. Sorry to jump in on this. These timeouts are only 30 seconds, and coaches want to talk longer than that. And so I was watching. The umpires blew the whistle to kind of break it up, and the teams weren't quite breaking it up. Yeah. So I kind of predict we're going to see
the move to 45 seconds.
But I mean, in real time, they actually get penalized for it.
Yeah. And that's gonna stay with Scott. Oh nope, it is going to England. We get two different calls here by two different refs, so we'll see. Oh, okay, there it is. There's the adjustment. It is going to stay with Scotland. You can see here, England is really pushing out defensively. So I think that they're going to really pay attention to how much room that gives. It's a very quick game. The further out you push, the bigger the room is for a really solid attacker to make a couple of moves and really get through.
Yeah, it's that risk-reward scenario, isn't it? But, Katie Greenwood being so solid back here in this match, you feel a little more confident that if you do get beat, you've got a little help behind.
Yeah. Emma Brown down here with the ball.
Scotland in a box and cherry picker defense. Lottie Robertson.
Emma Oakley's going to try and get this back check right here. Katie Greenwood with the save. Great save. She really is. She's staying calm and composed. She got that clear out quick. It's on the upside to Liv Wimpenny.
But credit to Emma Oakley for not giving Lottie Robertson options. Like she had to go high to high because as she brought it down, she would be checked.
She did. She had the angle there. And Scotland here, with the turnover, Alex Drew trying to get that cherry pick. Liv Wimpenny with the one hand. Oh, almost converted that. I mean, this is turning. There's a
errant whistle. A nice tic-tac-toe offensive transition from Scotland there. I think Alex Seidel actually saw the open person. Earlier in the game, she was seeing an open person, but the ball's in the air so long on a long clear, defense has a chance to move. So the person has to be truly open to make that connection. She saw it. She did it. They got a goal out of it.
And that very quickly turned into 3 or 4 passes all the way up and down the field, the length of the field, with some full field sprints because of those long passes.
All right, halftime snuck up on us there, Jenna. It's 9 to England, 5 to Scotland in this Home Nation Sixes tournament match here in Edinburgh, Scotland. Dave Simpson, Jenna Kaufman. Really enjoying this whole tournament, but enjoying this game in particular. There's so much to talk about here. But unlike the earlier game, nobody ever really got a big run. I think maybe the biggest lead when Scotland and England saw each other this morning.
I think it was 3.
Yeah, I think 3 was maybe the biggest lead. And here, we have a 4-goal lead here, and England really, I think, feeling like they're having some control right now. So I see the Scotland coaches having a chat on the side. What do you think they're talking about?
I would say that Scotland is probably saying, let's slow the pace of the game where we can. They're not outpacing England. So what I mean by slow the pace is get on the offensive end, get on the attacking end of the field, and move the ball around a couple of times. Don't take that first pass right into the right into the lane, because the second pass is open.
Well, we're thinking of sixes as like it's a speed game. It's a speed game. It's still a possession game.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to do the long clears. We can connect the dots in transition. Or
the ball moves faster than the human.
That's it. So I think Scotland slightly just has their eye at the other end of the pitch when, we have some simpler passes in between. How about for England?
Well, I think that England is going back to some of the conversations we had earlier, which is clean up the passes. I think that England probably needs to address defensively and make a decision. How far out are we going on defense? And once everybody's on the same page there, because you're kind of seeing some of the players that are sagging in and trying to hold, and then you're seeing other players that seem to be also pushing out on defense, and so it doesn't seem like it's 100% consistent, but that's less of an easier tactic to fix, because you're addressing 10's behavior versus the new behavior of 6's, so people fall back into that comfort zone. And the downside is the wider you get, the farther out you're dragged. When it's just 5 people on a side, the holes that are created are quite large for a good attacker to really drive through.
And Phil Collier won't be comfortable with this lead. He knows the talent that's on the Scotland side. We've mentioned before, but it's worth repeating that all these players that play in the UK, they play against each other in their national teams, but they're often teammates at their universities or their clubs. And so some of them have relationships going back decades. And here they are toe-to-toe with them in an international match. So there's a lot of talent on both sides. And so I know Phil would be like, hey, let's not get this, let them get back in the game. Whereas I know Ilse Stad would be telling the team, hey, we have everything to play for.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose. Yeah. And they are, in fact, a team that can play on good momentum runs. So it's just a matter of kind of doing that assertiveness. And I think it starts with the clears, the transitions after goals and turnovers, getting the ball securely to the attack portion of the field.
And it's something that's different here is it is much more difficult to get on a 2 or 3 goal run in 6's. So if you do that, if you take that advantage, if you get that advantage and you really utilize it, it can be a very big game changer. Because of the way that the game is set up, the back and forth that occurs does not provide, without a turnover, it does not provide the opportunity to get a couple of goals up easily.
Yeah, in 10s, if you were behind and scored a goal, it's a 50-50 ball. In this, you've given the ball to your opponent, and you have to get a turnover
quickly
to get it back and deny them a goal and get a turnover quickly if it's towards the end of the game. So yeah, you're right. It's harder to come back from behind, isn't it?
Yeah, because those turnovers put you in a hole pretty quickly. So we have England coming onto the pitch here, and there's about 30 seconds left at the half. What do you think we're going to see when both teams come out? What changes do you think either would have made?
I think, knowing the Scotland team rather well, I think they're going to come out in a really spirited way. I think these kinds of, they're going to come out with optimism and belief, and so this would be a very dangerous time for England, to make sure that they don't build on that momentum. So, so we've got Hannah Grant and Liv Wimpany on the draw here. It looks like.
Katie Greenwood just kind of taking her time, getting comfortable, going back to the cage here.
So it's England 9, Scotland 5 as we start the second half here at the Home Nation Sixes tournament.
And on the circle, you've got Tors Anderson for England, who's really having a good game. Just taking a number of shots, having some good opportunities. Liv Wimpany with a self-draw, passing it out to Alex Drew. Alex Drew looks like she's just going to drive this pace here. Right in the back of the net for Alex Drew. That was Laura Beeman, by the way, number 23. Well, and Emma Oakley taking number 13 here for Scotland. Jenny
Ayton, yes.
Jenny Ayton, sorry about
Jenny
that.
Ayton doing the cherry picking, but they decided to leave a field player, which is what Katie Greenwood was asking for in the first half and didn't quite get. So clearly something they talked about.
But Emma Oakley immediately just recognized that and adjusted back. So it looks like England did make that adjustment there.
Chloe Carruthers in a very traditional post position there, had the ball fed in from Georgia Greenwood, and didn't see who did the check, but it was a nice check from behind. Georgia Greenwood on the ball.
And you see Tors Anderson immediately. Emma Oakley went up to get the ball in the attacking end, and Tors Anderson picked up the defensive need for the cherry pick. She's going to be split here.
2v1 with Hannah Grant.
Nice save by Katie Greenwood. And Tors made her decide, right? Hannah Grant had to make a decision. Had to make it probably quicker than she would have wanted. Yep. And a foul. Hold. We've got a hold right here. It's going to be Scotland's ball. Oh, no. I apologize. It is going to be England's ball. Here we go. Liv Wimpenny for England. See how she decides. I think England's going to have to start to move the ball a little bit quicker. They're holding a little bit in the third with 6 minutes left, and I'm not sure I'd give Scotland the opportunity.
Yeah. Scotland are running their box and cherry picker attack. You can see here, Scotland wants that pass. They want that feed. It's going to fall. It's there. They're doing a good job of creating that opportunity. I think probably maybe just a half second quicker. I was kind of reading Georgie Greenwood's body language on that as she was running the ball up. She really was looking for a fast break, and she looked right and looked left, and like, where are my teammates? They hadn't quite gotten in front of her to give her some opportunities.
Alex Drew with a great feed, just quick spin move, and oh, here we go. Put the ball in the back of the net, and here comes Emma Oakley doing the exact same thing. And what you just saw was Emma Oakley scored the goal and is now having to sprint back to get to the other end. That is the game of sixes. Scotland with the ball here. Scotland's going to try and figure out a way to have some of these quick sticks, probably in the next couple of minutes here.
They do need to be assertive. They don't have to rush, but they need to be assertive to the goal here.
And they don't. They're very clearly not comfortable. Oh, great
clever
goal.
Stuff from Jenny Ayton.
Great goal.
Jenny Ayton has this very interesting, I would call it a Statue of Liberty cradle.
Yes.
And I would always tell her, or tell the rest of the team, don't do what Jenny does. Tell Jenny, keep doing what you do. Because it seems like it's so checkable, but she moves it around so cleverly that no one can quite get to it.
Well, and I was just going to say, she leaves it when it's such a position where almost she's baiting someone to try and check that. And that they're not getting the opportunity. We've got a great back check there by
uh-oh, that's over and back.
Oh, there it is.
This is the old muscle memory of the tens. You know, it's given where we are in the development of sixes, you can't get angry with that as a coach. It's just going to happen.
Not
and
at all.
Coaches are making errors too.
Tors Anderson right there with the restart and converting that into a goal. It's 12-6 with 4 minutes left in the third here. And like you said, coaches are making adjustments and learning as we go.
So back to what you were saying about getting physically tired as you're running up and down the pitch. If your players aren't doing 4 or 5 possessions and coming off absolutely exhausted, they're really not working hard enough. There's no saving energy in this game. Everybody needs to be hauling up and down the whole time.
And it's also got to be it's a full field sprint too. You're not able to jog. And you're playing attack and defense, right? So that the stick skills and the need to have those stick skills has adjusted as well.
Well, I like what Scotland was building on that one. So it was kind of one cradle and pass, one cradle pass, one cradle pass, keeping it hot, and it created a good look, not a great look because the angle was quite poor. But Jess Gray is such a good finisher from that poor angle that I actually thought it would go in. But I like the build up there. I think that.
I don't think she was far off, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Here we go. That was Emma Brown just putting it in the back of the net. And Emma Brown, by the way, is a defender. She's a phenomenal player, athlete, and picking up some of the midfield work. But there's that quick stick. There it is.
Nice.
The 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We knew Scotland was going to pull it together here any second. They just had to start converting.
I was kind of starting to say it's time for a timeout for Scotland, and then now you don't want to call the timeout off a good goal like that. So
no, not now. You don't. So England, let's see how they answer this.
Lottie Robertson
and a turnover.
Oh, Suze is going to cruise this.
Here we go. See, Katie Greenwood with the save, just so composed. You saw how, I mean, she didn't even step. She waited and let that come to her.
There are goalkeepers that are kind of high-strung and twitchy, and and successful, and there are those that have like a low heart rate the whole time, and they just never a little bit type B about it. I think.
I was going to say, I'm not sure you're going to get that twice, but she is. She's a great leader as well. You've got Liv Wimpenny here with the clear, working it up the side to Laura Beeman, looping it around there to Ella Cohen, and you can see Liv Wimpenny there making the cut, not there. Beeman keep going. Beeman goal, putting that across the body. That's a really difficult shot for a goalkeeper. I know I hated it.
It's Hannah McRae with the ball. Quick release to Suze Oliphant.
Good defense right there. Number 14, Ella Cohen again.
Little stutter dodge there, but Hannah McRae stayed with. Good discipline.
And that was Alice
defense.
Ripper trying to get that in. Beeman taking the shot with a save from the Scotland goalie. So what you're seeing is also England has now decided to put pressure on the keeper. There's 45 seconds
Lottie
left.
Robertson.
Nice save. Just out of thin air. Liv Wimpenny putting it in the back. I'm telling you, every time I see her do that, I'm just like baffled by how easy she makes that look.
So I think this is another example just now. Scotland are losing their patience a little bit. We need to push it up and get goals and making low percentage clears when it's enough to get it out and get it up there and give yourself a chance. Possession beats speed every time.
That was a goal towards Anderson to Emma Oakley, and Emma Oakley just ripped a burner. It was actually, goalie was in good position. It just was shot so hard that it ricocheted and still went in. And there's the third. There's the end of the third.
So England 16, Scotland 7 in the Home Nation Sixes tournament. You're here with Dave Simpson and Jana Kaufman on the call. We're here in sunny Scotland.
I'm sweating.
It is now officially hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've taken your hoodie off, and I'm getting sunburn in Scotland, which no one will ever say again.
I was asked by a friend how to dress for this tournament, and I said layers.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. You know, we're close enough to the water, the North Sea. Any little wind can be quite chill, and then if it gets overcast and a little bit wet, you are freezing. So I've coached in Scotland for so many years. I'm just aware of what has to be done.
I don't know if anybody is paying attention here, but I am actively being provided water by one of the phenomenal parents of the England team. So
nice.
I'm pretty sure he wants a shout out for his daughter.
Name check his daughter.
Yeah,
right
that's what that was.
All right, so let's kind of debrief that first half. We expected another sort of close matchup, and it started out that way, certainly. And then it kind of devolved a little bit for Scotland. What do you put that down to?
I think England's got legs. I think England has, I know England has legs. Let me rephrase that. In terms of the ability to keep the play going longer, keep control of the ball. One of the things that we practice as a team is how to move quickly, but also how long can we maintain that possession. And that's important to us. So I know that that's something that is starting to look like it's just really paid off in the long run against this game here. What do you think about Scotland?
I think it just kind of came a little unglued around possession and passes and being secure in their play. I think, and it's a little bit of a mindset thing. I think they just needed to be calmed down a little bit. And so, but it's a team with a lot of talent that is able to switch on a dime. So just pointing out that we have a goalie change. Do you want to introduce the New England goalie?
Dylan Whittington. I'm really excited to see her play. This will be one of her first times at this level of sixes and playing with some of these players, some of these senior players, and I'm excited for her. It's a great opportunity to really get on the field. So
Hannah Grant and Liv Wimpenny on the draw here. Looking open the second half.
Liv did not want to be a part of that, but let's see how Dylan really opens up and as a goalkeeper here. So that's going to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see if Scotland takes advantage of that. Towards Anderson here with a wide shot. It's going to be Liv Wimpenny's ball.
Well, Scotland seemed quite happy with their box zone, and they've left Lottie Robertson not quite cherry picking, but up at the midfield line. So happy to play 4v4.
And England's made an active decision to say no more cherry picking.
Yeah. Goalie says, not my responsibility.
Yep, Alex Drew put that in the back of the net with passion. Ball out here to Hannah Whitley. Scotland. Oh, great save by Dylan right off the bat. You got to come out strong as a goalkeeper. Your first save is going to get you in the mind space you need to get in.
But all credit to Scotland on that transition. That's exactly what we were kind of talking about. It was strong movement with feet and ball, both connecting shots rather than passes, rather than just looking to dump it upfield.
And that was a smart decision right there to bring the ball back out by Chloe Crothers and not force the shot, which could have happened.
That's a good sliding there by the England defense. As Chloe Carruthers was looking to find space. They almost had an over and back, and it ended up being a shot clock violation.
It was one or the other that was going to happen. I think that's the adjustment, right? That's something that the teams are going to have to adjust to, is that shot clock being 30 seconds. Here we go. England's got the ball. Liv Wimpenny.
So this looks more businesslike from England from the way they were looking earlier.
Yeah, that's standard England. A couple of good passes, good, clean, fast passes, and Alex Drew just putting it right in the back of the net there.
So Alex Seidel now opting for the low clear, which so I think she has agreed with her coaches that we need to get the ball up there, and now it's paid off. They actually had a good shot on goal there.
With a great save by the young goalie Dylan.
Yeah, maintain possession and now they get another look.
And it's all about possession, and I think Scotland's gonna have to clean some of these passes up the longer this goes. You can really tell that it's just exhaustion is starting to set in here in some cases.
Yeah. Good take from Lottie Robertson.
She had unfortunately that attacker had no idea that Alex Drew was right on top of her, and let's see how they call this.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because she was clearly forced back over the line, but is it enough to send someone off for?
And there it is. Okay,
and that's what they decided.
Yep, that's what he did.
It's one of those borderline calls. I think it's right. She wouldn't have gone out of bounds other than the force, or not out of bounds, but over the midfield line.
Yeah.
There's Hannah Grant up top.
And I think the referees are going to have different levels, right? There's going to be different levels and different moments, and they're going to have to work, as all referees do, work to call every call exactly the same, no matter the time, the place, the outcome of the game. So especially as you're learning, it can be quite difficult. Liv Wimpenny taking that pass from Tors Anderson one-handed, pushing the ball up the field here for England.
Scotland doing a good job there closing on that drive, forcing her back, and then very wise on Oakley's part to pull it out and get a reset, not over push the drive.
And Ella, as a young player, is going to have to make a decision to not force that. That was a great save by the goalie. Almost a quick stick opportunity for B, but Scotland with the ball now. And Scotland and England are even, so they're no longer in a player-up situation here.
Right.
Moving the ball up top, and it's interesting. I haven't seen Scotland really try to do something from behind, but that's a shot clock violation. You got to wonder if it's just mental exhaustion at this point too.
Yeah, I'm seeing legs a little bit too. It's getting a little further in the day.
It's hot.
It's hot. It has become hot.
It's Scotland hot, we should say.
Yeah. So it's 18 goals to England, 7 goals to Scotland at the minute. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left in the game, in fact. Out to Charlie Bergquist.
That was an England turnover. Just a kind of a sloppy looking pass there. So again, Doesn't matter the score. Great save by Dylan right there. On the Scotland shot, but even with the score the way it is, you've gotta play smart, because some of those errors are what adds to that level of exhaustion, right? You're forcing your team to run all over sprints, so you've got to be smart.
I've often said as a coach, my nightmare is to sprint it up the field and immediately get a turnover, because to get our next chance to score, we've got to do a full field sprint back and then up again. So it's expensive to go take the first opportunity at goal, when by working around a little bit you can get a better opportunity. In sixes, less so, because there's a little compulsion around that shot clock, but still taking that first shot, the first opportunity isn't always the best.
Laura Beeman with a great drive and a great goal, and here she is. Look at, Laura Beeman's just got the energy right now to really put that in the back of the net and then go get a defensive stop in the midfield. Get Scotland here, who's kind of, like I said before, Scotland's really trying to slow the pace a little bit.
Yeah, just inside 2 minutes here.
9 seconds left on the shot clock.
It's all very congested in the middle. I think England have really dropped in and just not allowing that critical scoring area to be exploited by Scotland.
And a great save by Dylan.
Georgie Greenwood here on the turnover.
Looks like Emma Oakley couldn't make the decision as to whether or not she wanted to pass, so the ball was already on the way out of the stick when she tried to decide that she was going to hold on to it. But like I said, Scotland is trying to make smart feeds and smart decisions, but England has really closed that door and closed those opportunities down. They're playing sticks-up defense, and it's making it very, very difficult. It looks like a little bit of a younger Scotland team, too.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing from a slightly different perspective, which is that Scotland isn't quite creating the space. They're allowing England to kind of drop in. Like, look at all the red shirts in the critical scoring area, which opens the opportunity we just saw,
yes,
which is a shot from the outside. So well done by Scotland on that one.
A great cut, too, and it was across the body, which is what you're looking for. England calling the timeout after that. That's something that there's 40 seconds left in the fourth. It's 19-8. And you're going to want to see here. What's Phil looking for the last 40 seconds? It's a 21 seconds left on the shot clock. So what does Phil want to see with half of that time? What do you think?
Victory lap?
Maybe.
No, I'm in jest. I'm kidding.
Maybe.
And I know Phil, so he'll know I'm kidding too. But
yeah,
it's. I mean, the game's wrapped up, obviously, and so I don't know if it's a chance to try an end game tactic. I've done that before, where I'll just say, hey guys, let's pretend it was like this. And maybe we'll run a full stall, or we'll, So it's a chance to send in a play that, especially with sixes, it's really hard to send in plays because the play is so rapid up and down the pitch.
I have a feeling he's going to go into a stall. He'll probably want a last second shot with the last 2 or 3 seconds, but you can see here, Scotland has said, empty goal. There we go. Scotland put 2 on Liv Wimpany to try and get that out of there. And
I thought he might do the one where you stall and then dump the ball in the corner and then drop back in. I thought that would be a good opportunity to address it. Trial that.
16 seconds here with an England turnover after the Scotland turnover, and then a great save here by the England goalkeeper Dylan. She's been in position, and to have come out probably a little bit cold. Hadn't seen playing time yet today. Torres Anderson ripping that shot. And that is the game.
I hesitate to say that's the game because I did it last game and there was still time off. So, no, it appears to be the game. Good.
England with a score of 20-9. That is a much different outcome from this morning's game.
Well, and different than we would have expected, even with personnel changes, because that wasn't a terribly young Scotland team. It was younger than the one we saw this morning, and certainly you'd anticipate that maybe it was more their 18 this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know, but clearly I think they didn't quite gel this unit.
Yeah.
And so I know, thinking like a coach, it's getting the right combinations of players, the ones that see each other and can sync.
Sorry, guys. Just to let you know, sorry.